Thanks for letting me know. Okay, great. All right. So there is a link to class videos if you want to catch up with them after the fact. But as always, please come to class. Makes a huge difference in terms of how I structure the class to hear your feedback. But you just click the link to the YouTube playlist, and there is the class video. So if I do get delayed for uploading this for whatever reason, just give me a nudge and I'll upload it. There is, one of the students had the idea to have a group chat. So if you'd like to be part of this group chat, either Facebook and or Instagram group chat, you can click this Google form link and you could provide the appropriate details, and you could be part of a thread to stay on top of this class. And I saw a lot of you fill that out. There's many options here. You could also join the Discord server and or do this. I think I'm part of all three. So yeah, I'll check it when I can, but crowdsourcing information is always a good thing. So yes, that's what I have to say about that. And good. Well, I think this is a good point to actually, I still have to put the homework up on Canvas, but the homework assignment is actually available to you. You just can't submit it yet. So this is a good opportunity just to review the homework again. There is some stuff that will be more unfamiliar to some of you, so it's worthy of reviewing. Last time we talked about a lot of things, and I'm gonna, just by the nature of this class, I'm gonna reinforce a lot of what we talked about. So I'm gonna be kind of redoing my spiel to some degree, but it's always good to refresh things. In fact, all my homework assignments are cumulative. You'll see things appear on future assignments that you will have seen earlier, because it's not like in music, it's not like you're going to never see this again. Truth be told, you already know a ton about music. Like, that's the honest truth. Just by having taken 1A, you know a lot about music. The things you learned in 1A will truthfully form a huge foundation for whatever you learn going forward. We're not quite at the point of diminishing returns where what you're learning isn't is esoteric. There's still a lot of really important stuff you have to learn, but what you will have learned so far will constitute the backbone of what you will learn in the future. And you can't ever escape that. We're gonna have to keep reiterating what we've done. So that's an important aspect. So there is this interesting book. There are a couple of interesting books that I've put on the OneNote. It pertains to ear training and oral skills, and your ability to interface with rhythmic concepts and singing. And there are these books listed on the OneNote, and I think I put them under singing. But you know what? I could actually create a new section under, let's see, rename. I'm gonna rename this section resources. And oh geez, okay. And what I'm going to emphasize are these two books that I'm going to keep talking about. It's this this Eyes and Ears book. I guess I could put this fake book here as well. We'll eventually kind of start looking at that. And I believe the Hall book, the Rhythm Hall book. Okay. These three books are, well, these four books are very, well, these three books actually are very good. This Eyes and Ears book pertains to solfege and singing. This Hall book pertains to rhythm, and this fake book pertains to how to interpret chord charts, like lead sheets, things like that. So we will be taking a look at that throughout the quarter. And they're really good books, so I would encourage you to download them and to look at them. We were talking about solfege last time. This book has a very interesting thing that I can definitely nerd out about. It's got this Let me see if I can find it. Oh, it's got the solfege index. So, so, do, so, mi, 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 so, so, mi. So, so, do, mi, re, ti, do, ti, la. It organizes all these exercises by solfege. So if you're like, oh man, what was that song that I know that goes so, mi, re, do, ti, la, do, so? Well, you can go to the index of this book and you could find out some more information about that. Chart topper, that so, do, ti, la, so, la, fa. Anyway, if this is all gibberish to you, we'll continue practicing this. And by virtue of the fact that we are taking a class, we're taking this class over Zoom, what we're going to have to do is you're going to have to sing along with me. I'm going to have to trust that you're going to sing along with me for a lot of these exercises while your microphone is muted. And there are situations when I want you to just come out and say things, and I'll, those situations I think will be more obvious. But if we're all singing this exercise at the same time, I think it'll be chaos. But with that being said, let's just pull up a random exercise from this book. And let's do some rhythm. Not sure how far along we are on this, but let's do this simple rhythm right here, okay? So I guess just to kind of refresh this stuff, I'm gonna ask you to call this out. What is the value of this rhythm? What kind of note is this?
Quarter note.
Quarter note.
What about this?
Eighth note.
Eighth note.
How about this?
Half note.
Very good. How about this?
Quarter note.
Dotted quarter note. Very good. How about this?
Whole note.
Whole note.
Okay. All right. Join me. Ready? Go. Ta, ta, ga, ta, ta,
Ta 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 ta.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said join me. I should say join me silently, because every other situation except for singing out loud, you join me. Like just shout out. But in this situation, it's because of the delay, it's going to create a very disconcerting kind of sensation. So let's start one more time. 2, ready, go. Ta ta ga ta 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 ta. Ta-ka, ta-ka, ta, ta-ka, ta, ta, ta. Okay, excellent. Let's do this one. 1, 2, ready, go. Ta, 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 ta. Wait, I'm messing up, guys. I'm sorry. I totally messed that one up. Let me try again. I wanted this to be hot cross buns, and it wasn't, and it threw me off. Okay, let's start this over again. 1, 2, ready, go. Ta 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 ka ta ta ka ta ka ta 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 ta. Okay. Excellent. Okay. Let's see about this one. Now, what is this kind of beat called?
3/4.
What it's I'm sorry, what did you say?
3/4.
It's 3. Well, that's the time signature. That's correct. This is a
pickup note?
This is a pickup. This right here is a pickup beat. So this pickup note or pickup, both are the same. So what this means is this particular measure, I guess I should clarify, each of these measures has 3 beats, correct? The numerator of the time signature, in case, you know what? This is a good opportunity to clarify where all this information is. I'm gonna go to the rhythm section of the OneNote. And I'm going to look at the simple versus compound meters thing right here. And what you'll see is the top number of any time signature will tell you the number of beats in each measure. So there are, in the case we were just looking at over here, there are 3 beats per measure. And you might say 3 beats of what? 3 beats of banana, 3 beats of orange, right? What is, we need some units, right? That's an old math joke. We need some units here. 3 beats of what, right? 3 quarter note beats, right? The bottom number of the time signature tells you what type of beat, right? So, for instance, right? I don't know if I have a particular chart to show this, but right. So like, bear with me for 1 second. Just to kind of clarify this, just in case it's not clear to you. If I'm in a situation where I have 3, 4, there's 3 beats per measure, right? Right. And right here, this top number, oops, sorry, I should say this bottom number represents quarter note beat values, right? The top number represents number of beats, okay? So this is what this particular thing represents. Now we're in 4/4, right? We're in 4/4 now. This top number now is 4, right? Whereas this bottom number represents quarter note beat values, right? Hopefully it's still, you still remember this, right? The bottom number 4 represents type of beat, right? Quarter note beat values. So depending on what we have as the bottom number, so if I do this, for instance, if I have, let's say I have 4/2, or let's say I have 4/8, and then I have another measure of 4/4, let's see. And then I have another measure of, let's say I have something like this. I have 4/8, 4/4, and let's say I have 4/2, and then I have 4/1, right? So in this particular time signature right here, the first time signature, what kind of beats are we dealing with?
8th notes.
Exactly. And what kind of beats are we dealing with in the second time signature?
Quarter notes.
Quarter notes. How about this time signature?
Half notes.
Half notes, and then here?
Whole notes.
Whole notes.
Okay, so if I were to fill up these time signatures with beats, let's say I got a little fancy here. Okay. Okay, so I'm looking at these various time signatures. How many beats are in this measure?
4.
And what type of beats?
8 notes.
Okay. You win. Okay, casino music. Okay, very good. How about this particular measure? How many beats are in this measure?
3.
3 beats.
And then what kind of beats?
Quarter notes.
Okay, let's lay that beat down, okay? All right. How about this particular measure? How many beats are in this measure?
5
And then what type of beats are we dealing with?
half notes.
There's a beat down right there. Okay. How about this particular measure right here? How many beats are we dealing with? Oh, maybe it's a little hard.
7.
7, okay. And then what type of beats? Like what are the beats?
A whole note.
Exactly, right? Whoops, wrong. Wow, okay. You're not likely to see a measure like this very often. But yeah, so basically the 8, you can see how they're eighth notes, right? The 4, you can think about them as, you can basically think of them as fractions, right? If you get confused, 1/8, right? These are eighth notes. 8, 1/8, right? Here, 4, you can think of as 1/4, quarter notes, right? Quarter notes, no, quarter notes, right? Here, you think of as half, right? And then 1/1, whoops, nope, no, right? So that's basically the logic behind the bottom number, okay? So you're not likely to change this number too often to other values other than the ones I've shown you here, but in case someone gives you a piece where the denominator is 16, you know that the beat value is a 16th note, right? Okay, you got that out of the way. It's let me just save this document. Okay, let's see. I'll put this on the OneNote as well. I'll clean it up and put it on there. Okay, let's get back to the book. All right, so we're in this situation now where we have a pickup beat, right? Exercise number 9. This particular measure, each measure has 3 beats in them, right? And the type of beats are quarter notes, right? So let's actually use rhythmic notation to annotate what these beats are, okay? So this beat right here is beat 3, right? This pickup measure, you're not including beats 1 and beat 2, you're starting right at beat 3. And the result is the very last of the last measure of the exercise does not have a beat 3. It only has a beat 1 and a beat 2. You're basically borrowing beat 3 from the last measure of the piece. So that's why it's a pickup measure, right? You're borrowing.
I have a question.
Sure.
What does it matter if we use a pickup beat if we could just have pauses at the beginning and end of and like an additional two whole bars?
That's a great question. In fact, compositionally, I don't think there's a big difference. I think it's aesthetically nicer to see it like this. Like, you don't have to see 2 rests, because in reality, if you're a performer and you're playing a piece of music, you don't want the composer, even though like there's silence before the beginning of the piece, you want them to start playing right away, conceivably, right? You don't want them to represent 2 beats of rest before they play. In the middle of a piece, this becomes more important, because you might be in the middle of a piece and you might have a section where there's a pickup to a new section. You don't want to have 2 beats of rest. You just want like this pickup to occur right away, potentially. So that's, it's just aesthetically nicer instead of seeing 2 rests at the beginning to just see this. It's like, it's kind of packs in everything a little more. To be honest, as a composer myself, I don't always remember that I've borrowed a beat from the beginning, and so a lot of times the last measure of my piece will just be a full measure. So in my case, it's more of an aesthetic thing.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, so this is beat 3. What about this beat right here? What, in terms of rhythmic notation, what would this beat be?
1,
1, 2,
2, and 3,
3,
and
and
1,
1,
2,
2,
3,
3,
1, 2, and
Oh, sorry.
3,
3,
and 1,
1,
2, 3, 1,
1,
2, and 3,
3,
and 1,
1,
Ooh, my carpal tunnel.
2,
2,
2,
3,
3,
and
and
1, 2, 3, 1.
Okay, yeah, I was pressing space bar like a madman just now. So there you go. This is, incidentally, this is something that you guys need to know how to do. You guys need to be able to label the beats. This is important. Without being able to do this, I don't think you'll be able to proportion everything out correctly, right? The rhythmic proportions here are laid out to for a particular reason. So the idea is there are many ways to represent rhythm. For instance, like on the rhythm section, I have, there's many different things. Like you could call, earlier I was calling eighth notes. They don't even have what I was saying. I was saying tiki. But you could say tadi, you could say titi, you could say tate, dude, one and, right? We're using numbers for this particular way of saying it out loud. But there are many ways to say it. These mnemonics, just like solfege, right, are there to promote an accurate performance of these concepts. It's there to help you understand. It's not there to torture you. It's there to actually help you put everything in its right place. So there are many different ways to represent rhythm. This is one of the required ways that you'll have to learn in terms of how to represent rhythm. So I'm guessing most of you, if not all of you, know how to do this. But if not, there are some examples in the OneNote, I believe. Right. So for instance, you could use beat positions to count. What we're doing is we're using beat positions to count, right? We're actually saying this is the and of beat 2. This is beat 3. This is beat 4, right? So if we have rhythm B right here, we could use beat positions, and we could say something like 1, 2 E and a 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 2 and whoops, I messed that up. This should be 3. No. This should be 1 and 2. This should be 3. Yeah. Ooh, whatever. Okay, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? You could also use rhythmic speech, right? You could say ta, taka taka ta, taka ta, ah, 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 ta, 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 ah, ta, ta, round and, round and, round and, right? You could use different mnemonics, different techniques to help you. Notice how I changed up my strategy here, because I felt as though using some other rhythmic mnemonic was more helpful in order for me to convey this particular rhythmic concept. I called an audible. I changed my approach to counting in order to facilitate an easier way to, at least in that moment, to make sure I get that rhythm correctly, right? In this case, the ends justify the means. You're just trying to get it out. You're trying to get the proper rhythm out, right? So I've got this little funny thing here, food mnemonics. Right? You can veganize all of these if you'd like. So here we are, right? We have this rhythm guide. So I want you to say these with me, okay? In order. Hot dog.
Dog.
Grape.
Grape.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should say it with me, but while muted. Ready? Go. Hot dog. Grape soda. Apple pie. Hot fudge sundae. Coconut shrimp. Rice Krispie treat. Chocolate strawberry. Cinnamon oatmeal. Milk and cereal. Avocado toast. Cheese ravioli. Strawberry ice cream. Chips and guacamole. Tater tot casserole. Pepperoni pizza. Classic. The only one that doesn't really make sense to me is cheese ravioli, right? It's really emphasizing the cheese. Hey, what kind of ravioli do you want? Cheese ravioli, right? It's a little bit, yeah, a little bit emphatic for my tastes, but but all the other ones are pretty much on point. Well, I think a lot of them are. Apple pie, hot fudge sundae, coconut shrimp, right? There's just a strange correlation between like a consistency in how you say coconut and this particular rhythmic pattern. Like you don't ever say, I'm going to get a coconut. It's like, I'm going to get a coconut, right? Rice Krispie treat. not Rice Krispie treat, right? No one says that, right? Chocolate, strawberry, cinnamon, oatmeal, right? Cinnamon, not cinnamon. Cinnamon. No, I mean, it sounds cool, but it's not the traditional way of saying it. So the idea is there are certain phrases in various languages that help codify certain rhythmic concepts. So it's just basically all these strategies are there to help you understand rhythm better. So when we're looking through this exercise, just remember that. So this particular book has all kinds of interesting stuff. What's nice about this, not only the thematic index is nice, but they disguise certain songs as exercises. They casually disguise like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, or, you know, everyone knows this song, The Little Brown Jug. Now, I actually don't know that song. They disguise these particular songs as exercises in this book. So you could be singing this and you're like, oh man, I'm singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And there's also, what's cool about this book is that there are word exercises. Sorry, this is probably very disorienting for you to see this. Let me find one. I'm trying to find like a poem. Come on, come on. Oh wait, I'm in the wrong book. I'm sorry. This is Eyes and Ears. The poems exist in studying rhythm. Okay. So I'm going to scroll down. Okay, for instance, let's do this one. Paul Dunbar, Compensation. So let's say this poem out loud. I mean, sorry, I keep saying that because I want you guys to participate, but I don't want you to unmute yourself. But I really want you to participate. So I mean, like I want to see those lips moving. You know, I really want to see that. I'm looking at you right now. I'm not seeing those lips moving. Well, I haven't started the exercise, but we're going to start now. Okay. We have a pickup. 1, 2. Okay, we're in 3/4. Okay. This is already confusing, right? Because you're like, when do I start? Well, in your head, count out 1, 2, 3, and then come in on the end of 3. Right? 1, 2, 3, and. Okay, let's just say that. 1, 2, 3, and. 1, 2, 3, and. 1, 2, 3, and. Thanks. Okay. Okay, I was looking, I'm going to be honest, guys. I was looking at your Zoom windows, and I'm not seeing those lips moving. Unless you're a ventriloquist. I'll be impressed, but you have to prove to me that you're a ventriloquist. All right. Let's see those lips moving. Exaggerated lip movement. 1, 2, 3, and. Okay? See those lips moving. Okay, ready, 2, go. 1, 2, 3, and. 1, 2, 3, and. 1, 2, 3, and. 1, 2, 3, and. Okay, all right. Hey, it's better. More lips are moving. All right, so just in your mind, you want to shadow that. You don't want to actually say that out loud because then you're going to throw off the flow of the poem, right? So in your mind, if, like, to be honest, when I started singing this, I was totally confused. I was like, when do I come in? So just what's good about doing this is your step. What's difficult about a pickup bar is you don't always establish the time signature in your head. It's like, it's good to have this feeling of like 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's the undercurrent. It's the meter of this particular passage, right? It's good to have this in your bones while you're saying this, right? So this establishes that this gets you on pace, the correct pacing to put you in a good position to actually get this exercise correctly. So let's do this. Let's do our warm up and then continue on. 1, 2, 3. Because I had loved so deeply. 3, 1, 2, 3. Because I had loved so long. 2, 3, 1, 2. God in his great compassion. 3. gave me the gift of song. 2, 3, 1, 2. Because I have loved so vainly. 3, and sung 2, with such foul turing breath. 3, 1, 2, 3. The master. 3, in infinite mercy. 3, 1, offers. 1, 2, 3. The boon 2 of death. Well, that was uplifting. Well, anyway, basically, I don't know if you noticed this, but I was actually saying placeholder. So I was basically representing all of the beats while I was singing. See, I want to tell you why I'm doing that. You could basically keep track of time. Like if you're like, okay, if you're like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, it allows you to keep track of longer swaths of time, right? If Mississippi wasn't in the picture, you wouldn't necessarily know how long to hold that particular beat, right? Right? It keeps you on track. If I said, hey, like people are like, oh man, it's so hard to play fast. Like I can't go, right? What's even harder is to play slow. From the standpoint, if I asked you to snap every 200 million years, that would be really difficult to do, right? There's no reference. You'd have to like in between, you'd have to like be like, okay, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1, okay, I'm almost at 500,000, 600,000, 601,000, right? It's really hard to keep when there's long spaces of silence, right? It's really hard. Like if I'm like, hey, count every 15 days. If you didn't have a watch, you wouldn't know how long 15 days was. It gets difficult to keep track of even 6 beats of silence, right? You could get off track really quickly. So for instance, this little note right here that's long, well, this is a very long silence. So if you're on this particular note, it's good to kind of keep the meter going. Like you don't have to say like long 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, but silently in your head, you could be thinking long 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. God 2. In his great 2 compassion 3, right? This is something I do all the time. It keeps you on track. I'm whispering the beats, the big beats, basically the beats in the time signature that aren't occurring at that particular junction in time, but they're still they're invisible, right? That way you're staying on track and you're not just rushing through these particular passages. You might play long, very short, if you just don't realize how long it is. That's why people do say 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Otherwise, they're just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ready or not, here I come. Right? It's too easy to get impatient to rush through this stuff. So let's do this. Let's do another exercise. But this time, when you're doing it, I want you to whisper the beats. Oh, some of these pages are upside down. I want you to whisper the beats that aren't occurring. That basically are invisible at that particular moment in time. Okay. So for instance, I'll give you one example of this. So I want you to count all 4 beats and then come in on the 4th beat. 1, 2, 3. Hear the sledges with the bells. 4. Silver bells. 3, 4. What a world of, let me go slower. 1, 2, 3. Hear the sledges with the bells. 4. Silver bells. 3, 4. What a world of merriment their melody foretells. How they tinkle, tinkle, tinkle in the icy air of night, while the stars that oversprinkle all the heavens too seem to twinkle with a crystalline delight. 2, 3, keeping time, 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 in a sort of runic rhyme to the tintinnabulation that so musically wells from the bells, 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 from the jingling and the tinkling of the bells. 2, 3. Okay, I get it. From one standpoint, all of these things were difficult to say, but the rhythm was really easy, right? It was simple rhythmically. Even though it was fast, that's just difficult from the standpoint that the words were hard. But actually, to me personally, I felt like the hardest points were when I had silence, because I'm like, whoa, I was going and now I'm like stopping. I don't know how much time is left over, right? Let's do this again, but without saying the words. Let's say taka, 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 ta, okay? So we'll say taka on the eighth notes, and we'll say ta for the quarter notes, okay? 1, 2, 3. Taka, 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 ta. 4. Taka, ta. 3, 4. Taka, 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 ta. Taka, 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 ta. Taka, 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 taka. Ta, ta. Taka, 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 ta. 2, 3. Taka, ta, ta, ta. Taka, 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 ta. Taka, 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 ta. Taka, ta, 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 ta. Taka, 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 ta. 2, 3. Right? To me, that felt a little bit easier because of the fact that the syllables were more straightforward. We're normalizing that aspect of it. But anyway, I think when you're practicing this, I want to underscore how important it is that you stay on top of this. I'm going to try to stay on top of you guys on this as much as I can, because it's a little bit more difficult to enforce because we're in a pandemic, but this was such a huge component of the class. Like, actually putting this music theory to practice is so important. You know, it's not about keeping the stuff in a vacuum. You got to put this to practice. So if you guys have any questions about this, feel free to ask me. I will gladly try to help. So with that being said, let's do a little bit of solfege. Take a swig at this really quickly. Okay. Okay. Oh, great. There's a thumbnails panel. That's great. Okay. Let's go to an easier one, rhythmically speaking. So, I guess to start out this exercise, we're going to use movable do. Or I guess before we even do that, let's just say the alphabetic pitches of this exercise. So what is the alphabetic pitch here? And this time you could just chime in. I'll just hover over, and if I'm hovering over, just say it, okay?
G,
G,
A,
A,
B,
B, A,
A,
B, C,
D,
D,
C,
C,
B,
B,
A,
A, B,
E,
A,
G.
G.
Great. Okay, let's do this one.
G,
G,
A,
A,
G,
G,
F sharp,
F,
F sharp,
E,
E, D,
D,
E,
E,
D,
D,
C,
C,
C, B,
B,
C,
C,
D, C,
B,
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 A,
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 G,
F,
F sharp,
E,
G.
Hey, we got a chorus going. You know, that sounded great. So, you know, more participants, the better. I liked how there was a third person that jumped in. I think there were 3 people on that. So, but we have a lot of people in this class. So, you know, just jump in. Good work. Okay, so now let's try the same thing in solfege, but we'll use movable solfege, right? In order to use movable solfege, we have to figure out the key of the exercise, right? Now, if you remember the conversation about the circle of fifths, the circle of fifths, basically, you know, for every sharp that you have in the key signature, you're going up clockwise along the circle of fifths, right? So that particular exercise had one sharp. So what's a fifth above C? G, right? So I'm going to hover over this. I'm going to hover over these notes, and I want you to tell me when I land on G, okay?
Now.
Okay, great. All right. Awesome. I'm on G. So in movable solfege, we figured out that this exercise is in G major, correct? So if we're in G major, oh, wait 1 second. Why is this? Oh, there we go. We're in, oh, whoa. Oh my gosh. All right. We're in G major. And the reason I hover over G is that G is do. So this is do. What is this?
Re.
Re.
Mi. Re.
Re.
Me.
Mi. Fa.
Fa.
So.
So. Fa.
Oh, whoa, you guys got it right.
Mi.
Re.
Mi. Re.
Do.
Absolutely. Okay. So let me, my piano is on. One of my microphone stands is coming in the mail, but how are we going to do this? You know what? I'm going to open up Ableton. So that I can play the piano. There's going to be a little bit of latency, but that's okay. I don't know if you guys can hear that, probably not. Let's see. Ooh-wee. Go to preferences, blah, blah, blah. Zoom audio device. Can you hear this? Okay, let me see. Actually, you guys should be able to hear that. Let me just change the sound to something less, I don't know. I'll go to this one, more classic.
When you were booting up your Ableton, did that say Ableton 11?
Yes, Ableton 11. I'm an alpha tester, and
What?
yeah, I'm an alpha tester. But you know, the beta came out recently, so I've actually
Okay.
known about Ableton 11 for well, I can't tell you how long I've known about Ableton 11, but Ableton 11 is coming out soon, and I love it. You know, I'm all about Ableton. There's some other great DAWs out there, but yeah, I highly
like-
recommend you any way you can just try to get your hands on Ableton 11 once it comes out, or Ableton in general. If you guys have any questions about Ableton, just email me, and I have ways of, you know, we could talk about Ableton. I love talking about it. So with that being said, I've got this, cool, I've got this piano sound going. All right, so now I'm gonna go back to here. And okay. So we have this exercise, right? Okay. Okay, when I warm up, I like warming up my highest notes and my lowest notes. Okay, so I have this exercise that I've learned from various choir teachers that I've studied with and private lessons. Sounds silly, but I'm telling you, it gets the job done. You know, you got to get the whole range warmed up. So, this is great because, you know, I mean, no one will know you're doing it because it's on Zoom. So you could just do this, warm up your voice, right? Just getting the voice warmed up. It's better to stand when you're singing, right? So anyway, I'm going to start by saying this exercise. Do, okay. Do, re, mi, re, do. Wait, you know what? I think I'm messing it up. Okay, let me try this one more time. 2, 3. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Okay? Mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Okay, let's do a little warm up, okay, shall we? We're going to do this exercise. It's going to look like this. In fact, let me just go to my Solfege Explorer really quickly. This is one of my, trying to expand this music theory website, but we're going to do this particular solfege pattern. Oh, it's messing it up. Just ignore the octaves, okay? Nope. I need a template of stuff. We're going to do this. Okay? Do, re, do, mi, do, fa, do, sol, do, la, do, ti, do, do. Then we'll go backwards. Do, ti, do, la, do, sol, do, fa, do, mi, do, re, do, do. I'm going to choose a lower note. Let's do this one more time. Do, re, do, mi, do, fa, do. Oh, I'm not seeing those lips moving. I can see you. I can see you. All right, let's do that one more time. Let's get those lips moving, guys. All right. 1, 2, ready, go. Do, re, do, mi, do, fa, do, sol, do, la, do, ti, do. Go. Do, ti, do, la, do, sol, do, fa, do, mi, do, re, do. Okay, let's do this. Okay, let's just go up a scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Okay? You guys need to know how to do that. So let's actually, oh, no pun intended. Let's actually go to this exercise right here. And, oh, I keep clicking the wrong thing. Okay, we're gonna go to PDF Expert and let's try this exercise right here. We'll call this Do. Okay. Do, 1, 2, ready, go. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, do, ti, do, do. Okay? All right. That's enough of that. You guys can hear everything. You guys can hear the Ableton. You guys can hear me singing. Hopefully, I can't hear you, but I'm imagining. I can hear you guys trying in my mind. So I'm happy you guys are trying. All right. Okay, let's touch base again with the homework that I wanted to just make sure that you guys are on track for everything else, right? We talked about solfege a little bit today, right? If you can figure out the key signature that you're dealing with, you can identify Do. And in this case, I've already identified it for you, right? Now, there are two types of ways of representing minor in solfege. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but there are two ways. Okay, one sec. The idea is you could use two conventions of solfege to represent minor, okay? So in order to understand minor, let's just look at the major scale in solfege starting on do, okay? So we have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, right? There you go. Now, if we're talking about the natural minor scale, just to review here, you have to flat the 3rd scale degree, the 6th scale degree, and the 7th scale degree, right? Now, if you recall, in order to flat any scale degree in solfege, you basically change the vowel to an A vowel. So mi becomes me, la becomes le, ti becomes te, right? So referencing this chart again, if we're flatting the 3rd scale degree, the 6th scale degree, and the 7th scale degree, mi becomes me, la becomes le, ti becomes te, right? You go from do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, to do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, te, do, re, sol, fa, mi, re, do, right? Great. Now, harmonic minor scale. Now, this is very important. I remember this easily because these 3 numbers are in my license plate. Or I should say the other way around. I remember my license plate because these 3 numbers are in them. It's these are very significant notes that rear their head in various minor scales, okay? Understanding which of these scale degrees is flatted or is affected will tell you what type of minor scale you're dealing with. So this particular section on one note, keys and scales, minor keys, basically this particular section outlines how you derive these scales basically from a major scale. So for instance, right, the scale degrees that are affected for this particular scale are the 3, the 6, and the 7. That's the natural minor scale, right? We're flatting the 3, the 6, and the 7. Now for harmonic minor scale, we're flatting the 3 and the 6, right? The 3 and the 6. For ascending melodic minor scale, we're taking a major scale and we're flatting the 3, right? Hopefully that makes sense, right? So what you see highlighted, you can basically see the solfege, basically you're seeing all of the solfege being modified for these particular notes because you're taking the regular solfege syllables and you're flatting these particular notes, and therefore you're making this diatonic solfege into chromatic solfege, right? Remember, the diatonic solfege is all this middle row that you're probably familiar with, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. The chromatic solfege are basically these black keys on the piano, right? So these are the notes that we're learning about in this particular solfege scenario. So if we were to go through these particular notes in solfege, and so I want you guys to sing again, okay? Man, I had so much authority when we did this in person. I could get everyone to sing, but with Zoom, I just need you guys to pull through for me. I need to see those lips moving, just exaggerated lip movements. Nothing grotesque, but you know, just let's do this, guys. Let's do this. All right. We're going to sing all 4 of these scales. We're going to start with a major scale. We're going to go to a natural minor scale. Then we're going to go to a harmonic minor scale, and then we're going to go to ascending melodic minor scale. Okay. On do. So you just have to read these syllables. Ready? Go. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Next one. 2, 3, go. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Next one. 2, 3, go. Do, re, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. 2. Next one. Go. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. All right, more lip movement. I'm seeing some of you guys not move your lips. You guys got to do it, please. All right. I don't want to call you guys out on spot, but it affects me when I need to see you guys participating. That's the only way I know that you're learning or trying to stretch yourself. I'm going all out here, so I need you guys to be there with me. All right, so we have this particular configuration where we have solfege, and this is movable do solfege. You're treating minor, and you're basically treating the tonic note of the scale as do, okay? The tonic note in movable do is always do, okay? So the tonic note of the scale in movable do solfege is always do, okay? And just to kind of emphasize the tonic note, right? The tonic note is this note right here, right? These are the tonic notes. These are the home notes of the particular scale, right? So the tonic note of the scale in movable do solfege is always do, okay? Any questions about that? I'm going to open up the chat. Okay, I'm seeing questions about the homework. We'll post in Canvas. No, the homework will not be posted in Canvas. You turn in the homework on Canvas, but you access the homework on the OneNote. And it's under the section course stuff, homeworks, links to homeworks. You access the homework here, and then you turn it in on Canvas. Okay. Sure. Okay, so now let's look at movable la solfege. Now, why use movable la? Like, this system seemed perfectly fine, right? You just basically, you just modify do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and you change the appropriate syllables when you have an affected scale degree. And we've highlighted all of these affected scale degrees, like 3, 6, 7 are these scale degrees that are affected, and those become, the syllables change and the notes become flat, right? Why use movable la? Well, I want you to look at this. Now here is a C major scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Now here is a C natural minor scale using movable la solfege. So let's take a look at this. What do you notice here? Let me ask you this. Are there any chromatics here? La, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. Are there any chromatics here? Do you notice anything here that's from this top row or this bottom row, right? Do you see, basically you saw la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. You didn't see any of these chromatic things, right? So here lies the advantage of movable la solfege. Here's tonic. In movable la solfege, I'm highlighting tonic, right? In movable la solfege, the tonic is always la. Okay. Now there's an advantage to that. So movable la solfege, the tonic is always la. The reason this works really well, it works really well for minor keys. This works really well for minor keys because when you use movable la solfege, you can avoid chromatics altogether, right? Consider this movable do. This is the same exact scale. This is C natural minor. using movable do solfege. And notice how we have do, re, me, fa, sol, la, te, do, right? Now, if we look at the same exact scale, C natural minor in movable la solfege, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. You can avoid all the chromatic notes. So you don't have to you don't have to stumble over those particular notes. Which one is better? Let's get to the contentious part of this all. Neither of them are better. They're just both different ways of thinking about the same thing. So you might be in a situation where in your head you're trying to figure out a piece of music. This is how I use it. I'm trying to imagine a piece of music, and I'm like, mi me ti re do la do mi la ti mi si ti do mi ti re do. Or I'm like, do mi sol la so mi do mi sol la so mi fa la te di do re mi re do. Depending on what situation I'm using. For me, by default, if I'm trying to figure out a song by ear, I'll use movable do for major songs. And if I'm trying to figure out a song in minor, I would use movable la. So let me actually give you a better example of that. So if I'm playing this Lady Gaga song, right? Do re mi do fa mi re ti do re mi re do. Caught in a Bad Romance, right? Now, I'm actually using movable la there because it's actually the tonic is la. It just helps me to think about it that way, because otherwise, if I were using movable do there, I would be using a bunch of chromatics. I would be me fa sol le so fa re me fa so fa me, right? Let's look at Bad Romance in two different ways. This is Bad Romance in movable movable do. Me fa sol me le. Let's play it. So, you could actually insert rhythms here as well. Me fa sol me le. I didn't type that in correctly, but anyway, I need to expand this a little bit. But this is it in movable do solfege. Now in movable la solfege, do re mi do fa mi re ti do re mi re do. Notice, compare this with the other one. There's much less chromatics, right? So it's like, for me, I'm like more comfortable with the solfege. Whoops. I'm more comfortable with the solfege that's like on this row. It's like the diatonic. This is the vanilla solfege that we all like grew up and loved, right? This solfege, this is like the ancillary solfege. It's a little trickier to get off. It's not quite on the tip of your tongue necessarily. It could be, like if you practice it a lot, you'll become really more and more fluent at it. So like my own preferences, like this is why I think I'm trying to get down to the point of saying, the reason people use minor solfege is, this is a good example. Like if I were to use, I mean, just look at, in this particular Bad Romance example, there's no chromatics when I use movable do. Movable la. But in movable do solfege, you see a bunch of chromatics, okay? And what's also funny about this song is that she says ra, ra, ra a lot, and that's actually a solfege syllable. Ra, 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 ra. It's a solfege syllable, so it's right there. Because if you're trying to flat me, it becomes me. But if you're trying to take a vowel and flatting it, you can't. So that's why they say, instead of a, they say ra. And I want to say that's the inspiration for Lady Gaga's choice of using ra for the song lyric, but it's probably not. So it's just fanciful thinking on my part. So anyway, hopefully we'll talk more about this. If there's any questions about this, I hope I haven't confused you, but it's important to know how to do it both ways. And for this particular example, I've chosen movable la solfege because it's a minor piece. And you don't have to. You could use movable do, but just understand why people use movable la. Let's see. So now we have these key signatures for these keys, right? Circle of fifths, the circle of life, right? Just watch The Lion King. No, just kidding. Do watch The Lion King, but another point altogether. We have these triads right here. We have, the first one is given, right? The other ones are not given. Now, here's my strategy for completing these assignments. You know, I'm going to use another stupid reference I'm going to use a lot during this class. Do you want to build a snowman, right? When you have a triad, you're basically building a snowman, okay? You need to build a snowman. It's really, it's half the work. You'll get automatic points by building a snowman. Now, here's what I mean by that. Let's say I want to construct an F major triad. Already, I know that if I create an F major triad, all right, I'm going to have to use these three notes. Well, let me change the time signature. This is really obnoxious. Okay. Now, I'm going to have to use these three pitches. Sorry, I'm going to have to use these three spaces on the staff. It's going to look like a snowman starting on this spot on the staff. Okay? It doesn't matter if I'm doing F sharp major or F major. I'm going to have to build this kind of structure starting on this position on the staff. So for example, if I was drawing an F sharp major triad, I would do the same exact process. I would pencil in all of the three notes starting on F. I would just build a simple snowman starting on that particular space. And then I would apply the accidentals after the fact, okay? So for instance, for F major, I'm done here. This happens to be an F major triad, right? Here, I have to do some work. I have to change this F. In order to make this an F sharp major triad, I have to change this F to an F sharp, this A to an A sharp, and a C to a C sharp. Now I have an F major triad, right? Let's do another example where it might not be, let's do another example. Let's say I have a D major triad, okay? I'm gonna start on D, okay? I'm gonna build a snowman starting on D. So I'm gonna put a note here on this F, in this little space right here. I'm gonna put a note here on that particular space right there. Now, I've got a D. I have to modify these notes now to become a major triad, okay? So how do I do that? Let me first get rid of these cautionary accidentals. Okay, how do I make this particular snowman a D major triad?
F sharp.
I got F sharp, right? So this goes down to the intervallic construction of certain chords, right? So if you go on the OneNote and you go to chords, you'll basically find a bunch of information. Looking ahead, you don't have to go to the 7th chord section yet. Looking ahead, you can find other stuff, but if you start from the basics, if you start from the triad section, you will find the definitions of these various triads by their intervals that are used to create them. So for instance, a major triad has a major third on the bottom and a minor third on top. I'm going to close off the class by doing a little refresher. It's always good to do. It's week 1. It's very important to understand intervals. If there's one thing you need to succeed in music, it's intervals. Rhythm is also very important, but in terms of pitches, intervals are the foundation, or they're the backbone. So there's sections on the homework pertaining to intervals, right? If you go to the last section of the homework, you basically have to describe all of these intervals, okay? And you also have to write the name of the note. So in order to understand intervals, there are two things to kind of know about when you're describing intervals. One of them is to know the staff distance. Okay? The other thing to know about is the half-step distance. So for instance, this interval right here, from here to here, what is the staff distance between these two notes? It's a line note going to its adjacent space note.
It's a second.
It's a second. How many half steps are we dealing with?
2.
Well, yeah, I guess it depends on if you include the bottom note or not. Well, I guess no, actually it's not 2. If you include, okay, let's just say this. If you're adding to the note, if you're starting on C and you're trying to get to D sharp, if you're starting on C and you're trying to get to D sharp, this is C. What you want to do is you want to skip this note, and then finally get to this note, right? Okay? So this is very important. Basically, you have to skip these two spots, right? So if you look at the chart that I have, you could in all honesty, I'd probably memorize this, but knowing that it's basically 3 half steps, right? So if we're going back to this other example right here, it's 3 half steps, and the staff distance is a second. So it has to be some sort of second, right? But it's 3 half steps. What is 3 half steps normally considered to be? It's considered to be a
Minor third.
minor third. But because we're making it a second, it's slightly bigger than it sounds bigger than what it looks like, right? So in that case, it wouldn't be a minor third, it would be an augmented second. Correct, right? Augmented second. So I guess one thing to pay attention to, does it look like it sounds like? Okay. So in this case, it doesn't look like it sounds like, right? When you're thinking about, it does, but what I mean by this is, I'm going to delete this passage. There's kind of a default way of thinking about seconds, like and thirds, and all these intervals. These are the base cases. These are the ways that, the vanilla ways where you can, the most common use case for all these intervals. You have 3 half steps, you're dealing with a minor third. You have 4 half steps, you're dealing with a major third. You have 5 half steps, you're dealing with a perfect fourth. You have 6 half steps, you're dealing with a tritone. 7 half steps, you're dealing with a perfect fifth, right, etc. But there are situations where the half steps and the staff distance is incongruous, right? They're incongruent. Yes, for a tritone, you can say augmented fourth, absolutely, or diminished fifth, depending on the situation. But in that particular example, I think the tritone was an augmented fourth. Yeah, you could definitely say augmented fourth in this case. It's augmented fourth because normally you're dealing with a perfect fourth, right? That's the default kind of fourth, right? You're taking the fourth and you're stretching it, and it's becoming an augmented fourth, right? This is something that you're going to have to know how to compute. There are many different activities that we're going to study going forward that are going to require you to have an understanding of intervals, basic intervals. There's a great, if you want to practice some of this stuff, I really like this website, Teoria. I think there's something in the chat too, but this is one that I'm familiar with. I'll take a look at that one too. But you can practice intervals on this website, construction, identification, and you could limit what you're studying. So you could you could identify the intervals by, you could include diminished intervals and augmented intervals, right? You can include all of these intervals. You could subtract them. You might want to just study the vanilla intervals, right? You might want to say, I just want to study the major and minor intervals. These are the vanilla intervals and the perfect intervals as well. These are kind of the fringe case intervals, diminished and augmented. So for instance, if you calibrate this correctly and you click OK, it'll start giving you questions. And it's going to say, oh, identify the interval. In this particular case, it's a minor third. Okay. For this particular interval, what is the staff distance here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we know it's going to be a kind of fifth. Now we have to narrow it down. Is it a diminished fifth, a perfect fifth, or an augmented fifth? Okay. In order to figure that out, we have to know the half-step distance, right? So the half-step distance is, we're going to count up, okay? So we're going to look at this piano. It's over here. We're going from D sharp to A sharp, right? We're going from this note to this note. So we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay? So what I would then do is, first of all, I'd memorize the order of the intervals. 7 half steps, the vanilla way of thinking about 7 half steps is it's a perfect fifth, okay? So in this case, it's 7 half steps, it looks like a fifth. The staff distance is a fifth, therefore this is a perfect fifth. We'll keep talking about this. I hope this makes sense. Just to kind of, before you guys go, I want you to start memorizing this particular configuration of intervals. Unison, minor second, minor third, perfect fourth, tritone, perfect fifth, major sixth, minor seventh, major seventh, octave. I would memorize that because that's how you tell how many halves, like you can just remember that 0 half steps, right? 1 half step is a minor second. So you could just, with your hands, you go minor second, major major third, perfect fourth, tritone, perfect fifth, minor sixth, minor seventh, major seventh, octave, right? And that way you're like, oh, it has 7 half steps. I can just use your fingers. Minor second, minor third, major third, perfect fourth, tritone, perfect fifth. 7 half steps is a perfect fifth, right? So once again, you have to know the staff distance, you have to know the half step distance. And so in order to know the half step distance, you have to memorize vanilla interval order. Anyway, class, that's it for today. If you have any questions, I'll stick around. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Hey, can I ask you something before we leave?
Yeah, absolutely.
I was searching around the other day and I accidentally stumbled across your YouTube channel.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and you have like your Music 6 videos up there, which is pretty cool. Which is funny because like perfectly on time, my friend was convincing me to switch to Ableton. And so I ended up watching one of your lectures just to get like a handle on how Ableton works, and it's pretty cool.
Oh man, I'm happy to hear that. Thank you. Yeah. Well, I should send you a Google Drive link with some structured content for Ableton. I have a OneNote as well, but it's really fun. My lectures are a little. It's hard to keep if you're watching this after the fact and not live, the pacing's probably a little different than what you're expecting, because it's not like there's spaces of silence and pauses for questions and all this stuff. But yeah, just, what is your name? You're Mark?
Mark, yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Do you have any other experience with production?
Oh yeah, I've been using FL Studio for like 6 years or something.
No kidding. That's awesome.
Yeah, on the Discord that you created, I actually posted a link to my SoundCloud.
Oh, no way.
Listen to some of the stuff I've been making.
That's awesome. I'm gonna check it out. You put it on like the
music share.
Oh, fantastic.
I think it's the latest one. Yeah, it is.
Oh, great. Well, I'm going to check that out.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have any feedback, like mixing or structure or anything, just I'll be glad to hear it.
Oh, yeah, I would love that. My pleasure. And yeah, what major are you?
Electrical engineering, so not
Yeah.
music.
Electronic engineering and electronic music, they go hand in hand. There's
It's true. Yeah,
lots of physics to music.
true.
Cool. Well, yeah, I'm going to listen to it. I'll let you know what I think. I'm sure I'll love it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I've got to go to my next class, but thank you so much.
Take care.
I have a
Professor?
question about the OneNote.
Sure.
You go first.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
So you know how you said it would be easier to have the OneNote on your computer instead of going to the website all the time?
Mm-hmm.
I have the OneNote app on my Mac, but how do I transfer over like your website to the OneNote app? Do you know?
Oh, okay. Okay. Here's what one student did. I think they opened it, and then like they opened it on their browser. They clicked the link, and then like in the OneNote app, they went to like recent notebooks, and they saw like the notebook there. I don't know if that works. I don't know if you'll be able to do it that way. A student was able to do that without me giving them explicit invite. I don't know if you'd be able to try that out and see. If not, I can give you an explicit invite. Let me try. What is your email again?
It's bcandiot@ucsd.edu.
Sorry, one sec.
It's my first initial and then my last name, but they cut off the Y.
Oh, I see. So what? One more time. Sorry. I wasn't ready yet.
CANDIOT@UCSD.
Brett Candioti?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right, so I just sent you another link. So hopefully, I think you might get an email notification about that, and then that might allow you to open it in the
Great.
OneNote
Thank
app.
you.
Yeah, hopefully, good luck. Let me know if you have any questions with that. I'll try to, hopefully we can get
Take
that
care.
to work. Sure.
Bye.
I think Emily had a question.
Yes, sorry. I'm not sure if you were able to catch my messages that I sent you through the Zoom chat, but I just wanted to like apologize for the misunderstanding. I did not know it was your intention to join the group chats. Because I saw your information in the form and I was like, I didn't know if you were testing it out or if you wanted to join them. But
Yeah. Oh no offense taken. Yeah, that's totally fine. I wasn't sure if I should join either, but I mean I would.
no, I already added you. It's
Oh, yeah.
perfectly fine.
Oh, that's
It's just,
cool.
okay, good. I just didn't, it was like really embarrassing for me because it's like, oh, I didn't mean to like you know what I mean?
I hear you. Yeah. No offense taken. That's all good. I totally get it because I understand. It's normally like thank you so much for coming up with this idea, and thank you so much for facilitating all this stuff. That's really awesome. It's going to really help a lot of people. And it seems like a lot of people. Last time I checked, there were like 20 people who responded, and that was like yesterday. So.
Oh yeah, you'll be able to see the group chats now. So yeah, nobody has. It's not really active. Not a lot of people are like talking, but it will get there. This is the first week, so thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
I actually just have a question about like if I want to review like your lectures or something, like maybe some parts, do you think do we have access to like the recording of the lectures?
Oh yeah. So that's under basically that is if you go to the OneNote and you go to class videos, and then
okay.
I didn't have it before the first lecture because I didn't have anything recorded, but all the subsequent lectures will be posted here. And if I ever like fall behind, just send me a nudge on email, and I'll make it up to date. But yeah, it's feel free to check that out. It's hopefully helpful.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Hi, Professor.
Hi.
I was wondering where can I find the link to the sections, to the labs?
Oh, sure. So who's your TA?
let me see. I don't really know because I don't see it on syllabus or anywhere.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I think I did. Okay, here's the thing. What is your time? Because on the syllabus, there is the times. So like if you go to the very first page, I'm pulling it up right now.
It's empty for me right now. The
Oh,
syllabus.
whoa, sorry. It got moved to the bottom for some reason.
Oh, okay.
It was there. It was
Okay.
just all the way to the bottom. So let me. move it
Oh,
up.
I see. I thought. Okay.
Here we go. Now it's up there. So yes. So when is your time? Is it?
It's coming at 11.
Oh, it's 11. Okay. Okay. So I would contact Ilana because you know what? I can actually. Let me just give you the information because it's a little. I was going to put all of them on the syllabus, but for hers I didn't because it was a little complicated. So let me see. Let me pause the recording because there's some password and stuff. So let's see.